as Attorney Cardamone mentioned, I was tasked with reviewing Chapter 19 and Chapter 20, but I didn't feel constrained to those. I was kind of given a blank canvas to look at both of those to see if they would work, if it was a matter of making changes, or if the county ought to consider scrapping them all together and starting new. So I really did begin this work with a blank canvas. But I think I'd like to set the table a little bit about ethics codes generally. First of all, there is no statewide standard on ethics codes. Communities, counties, local governments really do run the gamut. A number of counties don't even have an ethics code. And so Kenosha County was ahead of the game with that, certainly. And then, you know, the format of the ethics codes are all different. The consistent theme, though, is that ethics codes are really designed to exist in a place that is between policies and procedures and rules that a county may implement, both with county employees, with elected officials, with governing bodies, and then criminal misconduct of public office. Ethics codes don't exist to, you know, punish rule violations, policy violations, but they also don't go so far as, you know, felony criminal misconduct in public office. It's really meant to govern that space that exists in between. And that is a consistent theme that you see statewide, albeit communities have different ways of doing it and different ways of addressing it. One thing that was crystal clear from the very beginning is that the concept of having two different ethics codes, Chapter 19 and Chapter 20, one governing elected officials and then the other governing employees, that is not seen around the rest of the state. I'm not going to say that it doesn't exist anywhere, but I wasn't able to find any other ethics code that had that sort of a structure. Traditionally, what we see is a single ethics code that governs elected officials and employees alike. There isn't a double standard. It's the same rules that apply to everyone. And that makes sense. I mean, if you think of closed sessions, for example, certainly we're concerned with how elected officials handle themselves in closed session and after closed sessions, but the same is true of staff. And so, you know, putting these legal requirements in place, it really does make sense for them to be applied uniformly. So I felt strongly after kind of an initial review that the concept of having two separate codes really wouldn't serve the county well, and that the traditional model is certainly going to a single code that applies universally to all elected officials, not just the county board, that would apply to the sheriff, the county executive, register of deeds, everybody who's elected. But then also all employees, whether it be a frontline hourly employee or department head, it would apply universally. So I certainly came in with the mindset of recommending that the county move in that direction. Beyond that, I felt frankly that most of what the county had in place was good.